Let me say something that might make you uncomfortable right away. If you or someone you love is over the age of 65, there's a daily habit you probably believe is healthy, but it might actually be putting their life at risk. And no one talks about it. Not your doctor, not your family, not even most health channels. But I've seen the consequences with my own eyes. And once you hear this, you won't look at this habit the same way again. Now here's the part that surprises most people. It's something we've all been taught since childhood. Something we associate with cleanliness, discipline, even dignity. Daily bathing. Yes, taking a bath or shower every single day. Sounds harmless, right? That's exactly what makes it dangerous. Because when something feels safe, you stop questioning it. But here's what most people don't realize. After the age of 65, your body is no longer reacting the same way it did at 30 or even 50. Your heart changes. Your skin changes. Your balance changes. Even your body's ability to handle temperature begins to decline. And when you combine all of that with hot water, slippery surfaces, and sudden temperature shifts, you create a perfect storm. I'm not saying bathing is bad. Don't misunderstand me. What I'm saying is this. The way most seniors bathe today is completely mismatched with how their bodies actually function. And that mismatch is where the danger begins. I remember a patient years ago, a proud man in his late 80s, still living independently, still doing everything right. Every morning, same routine. Wake up, make coffee, take a hot bath. He told me, "Doctor, I've done this my whole life. Keeps me strong." And for a long time, it seemed true. Until one winter morning, that routine nearly killed him. He stepped into a hot bath like he always did. But this time, something changed. His blood pressure dropped faster than his body could handle. His vision blurred. His legs weakened. And before he could react, he collapsed. In a wet, slippery bathroom. Alone. No warning. No time to recover. Now think about that for a second. Not because he was sick. Not because he did something reckless. But because he followed a habit he believed was healthy. And here's what's even more concerning. That situation is not rare. It happens more often than you think. Especially during colder months. Especially in people over 70. Especially when they're alone. Which raises a serious question. If something as simple as a bath can trigger that kind of reaction, what's actually happening inside the body? And why does it become so dangerous with age? Because this isn't just about slipping. It goes much deeper than that. In fact, what happens inside your body the moment you step into hot water might shock you. And once you understand it, you'll realize why this normal routine needs to change immediately. In the next part, I'm going to show you exactly what hot water does to your heart and why, for many seniors, it puts more strain on the body than light exercise. Let's get straight to it. What I'm about to explain is something most people have never been told, but it could explain why so many healthy seniors suddenly feel dizzy, weak, or even collapse in the bathroom. It all starts the moment your body touches hot water. Now, when a younger person steps into a warm bath, the body adjusts quickly. Blood vessels expand slightly. Heart rate increases a little. Everything stays stable. But after 65, that same reaction becomes unpredictable and sometimes dangerous. Here's why. Hot water causes your blood vessels to open up rapidly. That might sound harmless, but when those vessels expand too quickly, your blood pressure can drop suddenly. Not gradually, not gently, suddenly. And when that happens, your brain doesn't get enough blood for a moment. That's when you feel it. That slight dizziness, that wave of weakness, that something feels off sensation. Most people ignore it. They think, "I'll be fine." But here's where it gets serious. For many seniors, that small drop in blood pressure doesn't stop there. It continues. Your body tries to compensate. Your heart starts working harder, faster, stronger. But aging hearts don't always respond efficiently, especially if there's underlying high blood pressure, heart disease, or circulation issues. So instead of stabilizing, the system becomes overwhelmed. And this is the moment where things go wrong. You may not feel pain. You may not feel warning, but your body is under stress. A level of stress many people would never expect from something as simple as a bath. In fact, in my years of practice, I've seen cases where the cardiovascular strain during a hot bath was comparable to light physical exercise. Think about that. Except you're not on a treadmill. You're standing on a hard, slippery surface, in a confined space, with no support. Now imagine this. Your blood pressure drops, your balance weakens, your vision slightly fades, and you try to step out of the tub. That one moment is where accidents happen. And here's something even more concerning. Many seniors bathe longer than they should. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes more, because it feels relaxing, because it feels good. But underneath that comfort, your body is working harder and harder to keep up. And the longer you stay in hot water, the more pressure you place on your cardiovascular system. Most people don't feel this happening until it's too late. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever stood up too quickly and felt a sudden head rush? That brief moment where everything spins. That's a mild version of what we're talking about. Now imagine that feeling, but stronger, and happening in a wet, slippery environment. That's the real risk. And here's the part most people never connect. It's not just the hot water. It's the transition. Hot water to cooler air. Sitting to standing. Relaxed to suddenly unstable. Your body has to adjust instantly. But after 65, that adjustment is slower, weaker, less reliable, which means the margin for error becomes very small. And this is exactly why so many incidents happen right after the bath, not during. Now, here's the good news. This is not something you have to fear. It's something you can control. With a few simple adjustments, you can reduce this risk dramatically. But most people are making the same mistake over and over again because no one ever showed them a safer way. And in the next part, we're going to talk about something even more overlooked, something that doesn't cause immediate danger, but slowly damages your body day after day without you even realizing it. Your skin and what daily bathing is really doing to it might completely change your routine. Let me ask you something honestly. When you step out of the shower and your skin feels tight, dry, maybe even a little itchy, do you think that's normal? Most people do. They assume it's just part of getting older. But what if I told you that feeling is actually a warning sign, and it's coming from something you're doing every single day? Now here's where it gets uncomfortable. For many seniors, daily bathing isn't just unnecessary. It's quietly damaging the skin. And it's happening much faster than people realize. Because your skin at 70 is not the same as your skin at 30, not even close. As we age, the skin loses its natural ability to protect itself. It produces less oil. It holds less moisture. It becomes thinner, more fragile, more sensitive. And most importantly, it takes much longer to recover. So when you step into hot water and use regular soap, you're not just cleaning your skin, you're stripping it. Every single time. And here's the part most people never think about. Your skin isn't just a surface. It's a barrier, a shield, a living layer that protects you from bacteria, irritation, and infection. But when you wash too often, especially with hot water, you slowly break that barrier down. At first, it's subtle, a little dryness, a bit of itching, nothing alarming, but then it builds. The skin starts to crack. Tiny micro tears form. You may not even see them, but they're there. And once that happens, your body becomes exposed. Now let me share something that really stayed with me. A patient in her late 70s came to see me. She told me she couldn't sleep at night, not because of pain, but because of constant itching. Her arms, her back, her legs. It was relentless. She said, "Doctor, I feel like I'm doing everything right. I stay clean. I bathe every day." And that was the problem. After examining her skin more closely, we found severe dryness, inflammation, and early signs of infection, all caused by overwashing, not neglect. Overcare. Think about that. She wasn't harming herself by ignoring hygiene. She was harming herself by overdoing it. And this is more common than you think. Because we've been taught our entire lives that more cleanliness equals better health. But after a certain age, that equation changes. In fact, for seniors, more washing often means less protection. Now here's something most people don't realize. When you use typical soap, you're not just removing dirt. You're removing your skin's natural oils. The very oils that keep your skin flexible, hydrated, and protected. And once those oils are gone, your skin has to rebuild them. But here's the issue. After 65, that rebuilding process slows down dramatically. So if you bathe every single day, you never give your skin time to recover. It's like sanding down a wooden surface, over and over again, until it becomes thin and fragile. Now let me ask you this. If your skin is your first line of defense, what happens when that defense is weakened? This is where things start to escalate. Because dry, cracked skin isn't just uncomfortable. It becomes an entry point for bacteria, for infections, for inflammation that spreads deeper. And I've seen cases where something as simple as dry skin turned into a serious medical issue, hospital-level serious, all starting from a routine that felt completely harmless. Now here's the twist. Most people try to fix this the wrong way. They use stronger soaps, more scrubbing, hotter water, thinking it will clean better. But in reality, they're making the damage worse, much worse. So the real question becomes, if daily bathing is damaging aging skin, what's the right way to stay clean without destroying your body's natural protection? Because there is a better way, a much safer way, but almost no one is taught this. And in the next part, we're going to talk about something even more dangerous than skin damage, something that happens in seconds and can change a person's life forever. Bathroom falls, and why one simple moment can take away independence permanently. I want you to picture this for a moment. You step out of the shower. The floor is slightly wet. You feel just a little lightheaded. Nothing serious. You've felt it before. So you take one step forward, and in less than a second, everything changes. Your foot slips. Your body tilts. You try to catch yourself, but your reflexes aren't what they used to be. And then, you hit the ground. Now here's the part most people don't understand. For a younger person, that might mean a bruise, maybe some soreness. But after 65, that same fall can be life-changing, or even life-ending. And I'm not exaggerating, because in my career, I've seen this exact scenario play out more times than I can count. Healthy, independent seniors, losing everything from one simple fall in the bathroom. Not because they were careless, not because they were weak, but because the environment was unforgiving and their body couldn't recover fast enough. Let me tell you about a patient I'll never forget. An 88-year-old man, still sharp, still independent, still living on his own. One evening, he stepped out of the bath, just like he had done thousands of times before. But this time, his foot slipped. He fell sideways and fractured his hip. Now you might think, okay, he gets surgery, he heals, life goes on. But that's not what happened. After the surgery, he never fully recovered. His mobility declined. His confidence disappeared. He stopped going outside, stopped seeing friends, and eventually, he had to move into assisted living. All from one moment, one slip, one fall. And here's what makes this even more serious. The bathroom is the most dangerous room in the house for seniors. Not the stairs, not the kitchen, the bathroom, because it combines multiple risk factors at once. Water, smooth surfaces, tight spaces, and sudden body movements. Now here's a statistic that should really get your attention. A large percentage of senior falls happen during or immediately after bathing. Not random accidents, predictable patterns. And once a serious fall happens, the consequences can be devastating. Loss of independence, chronic pain, long-term care, and in many cases, a significant increase in mortality risk within the following year. Let that sink in. This isn't just about falling. It's about what comes after. Now let's break down why this happens so often. First, slippery surfaces. Water mixed with soap creates a nearly invisible layer of danger. You don't see it, but it's there. waiting for the wrong step. Second, sudden changes in blood pressure. We talked about this earlier. You stand up after a warm bath, and your body struggles to adjust. That moment of dizziness is all it takes. Third, reduced strength and balance. As we age, muscle strength declines. Reaction time slows. Coordination becomes less precise. So when something unexpected happens, your body doesn't respond fast enough. And here's the truth most people avoid. You don't get a second chance in that moment. Once you lose balance, it happens too fast. Now you might be thinking, so what am I supposed to do? Never bathe again? Of course not. That's not the solution. The solution is awareness and small changes. Because the difference between a safe bathroom and a dangerous one is often just a few simple adjustments. But most people never make them because they don't realize how high the risk actually is. And that's exactly why these accidents keep happening over and over again. Now here's where things get even more overlooked. Even if you avoid falling, even if everything goes smoothly, there's another hidden danger waiting right after your bath. Something that doesn't happen instantly, but can quietly affect your body in ways most people never consider. Your body temperature, and how quickly it can drop after you step out of warm water. This next part is something almost no one talks about, but it can be just as dangerous as a fall, especially in colder environments. And once you understand it, you'll never ignore it again. Let me ask you something most people never think about. What happens to your body right after you finish bathing? Not during, after, because this is where a hidden danger begins. And for many seniors, it's completely invisible. You step out of warm water, your body feels relaxed, comfortable, maybe even a little sleepy. Everything feels fine, but underneath that calm feeling, your body is actually losing heat. Fast, much faster than you realize. And here's the problem. As we age, our ability to regulate body temperature weakens. Significantly, your body doesn't adapt as quickly to changes in temperature. It doesn't hold heat as efficiently, and it doesn't respond as strongly when things start to drop. So when you move from warm water into cooler air, your body can't keep up. And that's where the danger starts. Because the heat your body just gained begins to escape through your skin, through evaporation, through even the smallest amount of moisture left behind. And if that heat loss happens too quickly, your core body temperature can drop. Not dramatically at first, but steadily, quietly, without obvious warning. Now here's what makes this especially dangerous. Many seniors don't feel it happening, at least not right away. They might feel a little chilly, maybe a slight shiver, but nothing alarming. So they sit down, they relax, they delay drying off, they stay in a cool room, and during that time, their body temperature continues to fall. Now let me share something that really puts this into perspective. I once treated a woman in her early 90s. She had taken a warm bath in the evening. Nothing unusual, but after stepping out, she didn't dry off completely. She sat in her bedroom, which felt comfortable to her. Within an hour, her body temperature dropped to a dangerous level. She was rushed to the hospital with early hypothermia. From a bath, not from being outside in the cold. From a normal daily routine. Think about how unexpected that is. Now here's where most people make critical mistakes. They assume, I'm indoors, so I'm safe. But indoor environments can still be cold enough to trigger heat loss in an aging body, especially in the evening, especially during winter, especially after exposure to warm water, because your body is coming from a heated state into a cooler one, and that contrast is what creates stress. Now let's break down what's really happening. When water evaporates from your skin, it pulls heat away with it. That's basic physics. It's the same reason sweating cools you down. But after a bath, that cooling effect becomes a problem because your body isn't trying to cool down. It's trying to stay stable. And if you don't act quickly, you lose that balance. Now here's something else most people overlook. Wet hair. It may not seem like a big deal, but it acts like a wick, pulling heat away from your scalp. And your head is one of the fastest areas for heat loss. So even if your body feels okay, you could still be losing warmth rapidly. Now let me ask you this. How many times have you seen someone sit around after a shower with damp skin, wet hair, in a slightly cool room? It happens all the time, and most people think it's harmless. But for seniors, it's not. It's a risk, a quiet one. Now here's the good news. This is one of the easiest dangers to fix. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need complicated routines. Just awareness and a few simple habits. But again, most people don't follow them because no one ever explained why it matters. And that's what leads to preventable situations. Now here's something important. Timing also plays a role. Many seniors bathe early in the morning or late at night, but those are actually the worst times because that's when temperatures are lowest. Your body is less prepared, less adaptable, more vulnerable. So even a small temperature drop can have a bigger impact. Now think about everything we've covered so far. Your heart under stress, your skin being damaged, your risk of falling, and now your body temperature dropping without warning. And we're still not done, because there's one more truth that almost no one expects, and it goes against everything we've been taught. In the next part, I'm going to explain why being too clean can actually weaken your body's natural defenses and make you more vulnerable, not less. Now let's talk about something that sounds completely backward, something most people will resist at first. But once you understand it, it changes everything. Being too clean can actually make you more vulnerable, not stronger, not healthier, more vulnerable. And this is where everything we've been taught starts to fall apart, because we grew up believing that the cleaner we are, the safer we are, but your body doesn't work that way, especially after 65. Your skin is not just a covering. It's a living ecosystem, a protective layer filled with beneficial bacteria, working quietly every single day to defend you. This is called your skin microbiome, and it's one of the most overlooked parts of your health. These good bacteria act like a natural shield. They block harmful microbes. They support your immune system. They help maintain balance on your skin. But here's the problem. Every time you bathe, especially with strong soap, you're not just removing dirt. You're removing that protective layer. And when you do that too often, your body loses one of its first lines of defense. Now here's what makes this more serious with age. When you're younger, your skin rebuilds that protection quickly. But after 65, that recovery becomes slower, weaker, incomplete. So if you're bathing every single day, using soap across your entire body, you're constantly wiping out your defenses without giving your body time to restore them. It's like tearing down a wall over and over again before it has a chance to be rebuilt. Now let me share something that really made this clear to me. An older patient came in with recurring skin infections, rashes, dryness that wouldn't go away. She told me, "Doctor, I don't understand. I'm very clean. I shower every day." And that was exactly the issue. She wasn't neglecting her health. She was overdoing it. Her skin had lost its natural balance, its oils, its protective bacteria. And once that happened, it became vulnerable. Small cracks formed, bacteria entered, and what started as dryness turned into infection. But here's the part that gives hope. When we adjusted her routine, reduced how often she bathed, switched to gentler cleansing, focused on protecting the skin instead of stripping it, everything changed. Slowly, but steadily, her skin healed, the infection stopped, and she finally felt comfortable again. Now I want you to think about this. What if the goal isn't to be perfectly clean, but to be properly balanced? Because there's a big difference. Clean doesn't always mean healthy, and in many cases, overcleaning leads to more problems than it prevents. Now let's bring everything together. We talked about how hot water stresses the heart, how daily bathing damages aging skin, how bathroom falls can change a life in seconds, how your body can lose heat dangerously fast after a bath, and now, how being too clean can weaken your natural defenses. These aren't random issues. They're all connected, and they all point to one simple truth. After 65, your body needs a different approach. Not more effort, Not more intensity, just smarter habits. Safer habits, more aligned with how your body actually works now. So what does that look like in real life? It's simpler than you think. You don't need to bathe every day. 2 to 3 times a week is often enough. Use warm water, not hot. Keep it short. Focus on key areas. Be gentle with your skin. Moisturize while your skin is still slightly damp. Dry off immediately. Stay warm afterward. And most importantly, slow down. Give your body time to adjust. Because rushing is where mistakes happen. Now here's the part one want you to remember. None of this is about fear. It's about awareness. Because once you understand these risks, you can avoid them, and small changes, done consistently, can make a huge difference in your safety, in your comfort, in your quality of life. So if you or someone you love is over 65, take this seriously, not later, now, because the habits you keep today will shape how safely you live tomorrow. And sometimes, the smallest changes are the ones that protect you the most.